She is the first Black female Toronto police officer to climb to the rank of superintendent. Stacy Clarke has shattered the glass ceiling after almost 23 years on the force, where she has also played a pivotal role bridging the gap between the Black community and the Toronto Police Service. But with major setbacks in 2020, she says there is still a long way to go to rebuild the trust. More than 2 decades after joining Toronto's police force, Stacy Clarke received a call she'll never forget.
I just sort of gasped for air a little bit.
In that moment, she became the first Black woman in Toronto promoted to superintendent. 2 weeks later, she's still trying to process it.
It's an overwhelming feeling, to tell you the truth. It wasn't an easy journey.
Her journey started in 1998, and she says she felt her role as a Black police officer came with another responsibility, developing partnerships between police and members of the Black community.
Do you feel like you've accomplished what you've wanted to?
This is work that is never, ever finished. I always say it's an everyday work. It really is. I'm dedicated, completely dedicated to continuing to build trust.
Trust that was broken in a major way last summer after the police killing of George Floyd sparked protests and calls to defund the police around the world, including here in Toronto.
I'm still not quite over it. It shocked my system. It really shocked my system. And it was an overwhelming space to be in as a Black female police officer.
Did it feel like a big setback after all the work that you have done for the past 2 decades?
It did. It felt like it did. It felt like we're at ground zero. I really do believe that, George Floyd's death has opened up an opportunity for us to do things different.
Do you feel like much has changed since then?
I feel that there's work that is happening across the board, right? Not just here in our city, but globally.
She acknowledges the work still ahead for the Toronto Police and the challenges she faces as members of her own community target her uniform.
Language and words that are being thrown at me is not being thrown at Stacy. It's being thrown at what my uniform represents.
What would you say to members of the Black community who might be interested but hesitant about joining the police force right now?
I would say to, look deep within yourself and decide on whether or not you feel you have an ability to be impactful. My role within the policing organization is a necessity so that I can amplify your voices, because that is exactly what needs to happen. Not all changes are going to come from the outside.
For City News, I'm Tina Yazdani.